Hey, good morning, Mid-Michigan, Western Michigan. Glad you're here again with us for yet another Sunday morning episode of Continuous Miracle right here on 106.3 WGLM. Got Dangerous Darren in here again this morning with us on the dial.
Good morning.
Thank you, sir, for your service.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here and doing the things I know Mike and I aren't qualified to do.
Correct.
Jeff might be, but we'd have to bring him along a little bit. Yeah, co-host Mike in here with us this morning.
Hey, good morning, folks. Glad to be here today.
Which is, Mike is glad to be here today.
You're open without incident. Hooray.
It's getting better. Things are getting better. And on today's show, we've got a guest with us, familiar to both Mike and myself. And I'll let him tell you about himself here shortly, but Mr. Jeff. And I think Jeff and I have been friends now for when did we meet?
About eight and a half years ago.
It was about 8.5 years ago
Yep.
now. Wow.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a lot happened in the last 8.5 years,
It
hasn't
has,
it?
it has, yeah.
Yeah, not just for me and you, but Mike too.
A lot of people.
He's got a
Yeah.
lot of stuff going on too, yeah.
Yep.
Living life out there, day at a time. And not abusing any substances in the
Right.
process, which is a miracle.
Continuous.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stuff we get to live and experience on a regular basis. Thank you to programs of recovery and overcoming our own addictions, so that someday we could probably maybe help somebody else along a little bit. And that's one of the gifts of the programs that are afforded to the people in the recovery community out there. So we're so glad you're here with us again this morning. Mike, I know I'm curious.
A lot of stuff going on up
I
there.
know that, but before we get to that,
What?
well, we have to visit now. Mike, as you can tell, he's coming right along here.
Oh, yes, sir.
So he got a new phone this week, but it wasn't until after the fact he misplaced his other phone.
Oh, that part.
Oh, there is that. So there's this stuff happens to people in recovery too, is what I'm trying to illuminate here.
My phone's out there, old phone's out there careening around without me.
Yeah, it is.
And here I am stuck in this world with my brand new phone. But not about the phone. I've known Jeff about the same number of years as Scott, 8 years or so. But I really got to know him when we were working together on different projects in AA. Recovery Road, working at the MAC, on the board at the MAC, organizing golf outings. But what I know him as is a fellow that does his part in AA and always willing to talk to a newcomer, sponsor, that sort of thing. Anyway, we just like to tell him good morning here from Greenville, Jeff.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thank you, too, for having me on the show. It's definitely a pleasure. I look forward to the conversation this morning, and we'll see where it takes us.
Oh, hopefully a real happy place, because I always have a lot of fun talking to Jeff.
I know we do.
Do you want to start, Scott, or are you going to let me start?
Oh, I can't wait. You go ahead, Mike.
Well, so a lot of times people are having trouble finding a AA meeting. One of the things I found out about Jeff was some time ago, he's got organizational skills and he knows a lot about the digital world. And I don't know, how many years ago did you get involved in organizing our part of the meeting app?
That was about 6 years ago, roughly. Yeah.
So let's say 7 years ago, when I look at this app, phone app, meeting guide, it's horribly incomplete for the area.
That it was.
Yeah, and then enter Jeff, or maybe you could say something about it. He pointed out a need.
Well, when I come across folks with specialized skill sets,
Yep.
that maybe I know I'm not a digital type person. I do the texter and I can do the email
And your Google machine still works.
yeah. When I need to really find something more important, I go to the Google machine. So other than that, though, I can get along pretty well. Or if I do have a question, at least I got somebody I can call. But Jeff was telling me one of our conversations about his skill set. So at that time, I encouraged him to go because he was at the point in recovery where it was time to start helping other people,
Yep.
or looking for opportunities to help other people. Mike, with his investigation, found this woefully inadequate piece of material that could use some assistance.
Yeah.
So I encouraged Jeff to get in touch with folks down at KCCO. And he went down there, and lo and behold, tell us a little bit what happened when you met Miss Sharon down there. Now, she's not there any longer, but Miss Sharon ran that office for how many years?
I want to say close to 20 years. She
Yeah.
was there quite a while.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. She's still out there with us, but she's gone down that road of retirement.
For a guy like me, what's KCCO mean?
So KCCO is our Kent County Central Office. What that is it's the 24-hour helpline for the greater Grand Rapids area. So if anybody has a problem, needs to reach out, try to find a meeting, a 12-step work, 13, whatever they need to get as far as Alcoholics Anonymous, they would call the office, try to find a meeting. That's where they have all their books, all the pamphlets, brochures,
Coins.
everything that you need. Yep, coins as well.
So it's a central hub for the recovery community throughout the greater Grand Rapids area and all the surrounding areas up here.
Which is us out here in the
Yeah.
boondocks.
Yep, we're included in that. So,
Yep.
so then walks Jeff.
Yeah, so I had met Sharon. Actually, it was when I was working on my third step. As I was walking through the program, Scott asked me to reach out and do some service work. I answer the hotline, do a few different things around the office. At that point, so a little bit of a backstory. I've been in the computer field writing software and various elements for almost 26 years now. So I've been in that IT realm of websites, web design, desktop applications, things like that. Got a hold of their current website, which was less than ideal, is a good way to put it. It was an older technology.
Sort of
so-
like me.
Yeah, and it was archaic. It was difficult to manage and maintain. A little bit
Are
behind
you talking
the
about
scenes-
me or the web?
The website, not
Okay.
you, Mike.
Well,
a little bit about the website.
Yeah, the website, right?
So to step back a little bit on the meeting guide piece of it, God has worked very mysterious ways in my life, and He seems to put people and places in front of me at the right time.
Ah, to
But
God.
this is where you started recognizing that, isn't it?
It was. It was
Yeah,
definitely
I
when
thought
I
so.
started to recognize it. So where the meeting guide morphed from, outside of this conversation with Mike and Scott, is we had a guy that just had come back from Brussels, I believe, and he was talking about this app. And he's like, this app works great in Europe, but it doesn't work great at home. Same thing you had mentioned. The meeting guide app, just the meetings, they're not relevant. It's telling me it's a 9 o'clock here or an 8 o'clock there. I go there and the meeting's not there.
Yeah, it's a little bungled up because sometimes transportation can be an issue.
Right.
And if you're
Yep.
directed somewhere and you're looking to
Right.
get some help, it's a good idea to have some people there who are willing to help you.
Right.
Yeah.
So our primary purpose of helping another alcoholic is to get them to a meeting that exists.
Yeah.
Right? We don't want to get them to a meeting place that doesn't exist.
I've been there.
We've all been there. I think we've all
Yeah.
been to a location that supposedly had a meeting, and I needed a meeting at that time. I needed that meeting, and it wasn't there. And thankfully, I've stayed sober through those situations. Other people may or may not have, but it led me to an opportunity to figure out what this meeting guide app was and actually look into the details. Got back from that meeting, say 12 o'clock in the afternoon, sent an email to the info at meetingguide.com, I believe it was. Within 20 minutes, I've got an email from a person in San Jose at their central office in San Jose. He calls me up, and within 2 hours, we're building the meeting guide application for our Grand Rapids website. Within 3 hours, we're taking steps forward. We're putting that action into how can we get our
So you get a guy with 18 years experience writing software, bump into somebody that says, hey, we do it like this.
Yep.
God work like that, huh?
Mysterious, yes. It is. It is definitely strange how these events have transformed in my life. Yeah, and it took us about a week. Then we realized we needed to update our website in Grand Rapids. So we had a couple of board meetings, got our website updated, got our feed in with the meeting guide app, and San Jose is where it was actually hosted at the time. Within a year after that, they had sold it, but they had basically given it to AA World Services. So then we were working with AA World Services, and that's connected me to San Jose, New York, and you know, this thing has morphed into more places and opportunities. Wired it up with Area 34 most recently, working with District 6 over in Holland last week to get them dialed in.
So there's a whole lot of connectivity going on out here in the world, folks, and thank you for your service, Tim.
You're welcome.
And that stuff does not happen unless
By itself.
by itself.
Right.
Yeah. Nobody just said, "Hey, I think I'll fix this one day." No, it was born of this young man's willingness as he was attempting to overcome the difficulties in his life, and his willingness to get outside of himself, reach out to an organization, and offer his hand and his skill set
Yeah.
in a useful and helpful manner. And that in turn has turned into 6-7 years of just some wonderful discoveries along the way. Not only in the digital world, but in your personal world as well, that I'm aware of. And this is what happens in recovery. This is what it happens in real time. And I think it's overlooked time and again. And it's not well known. You know, and it's one of the purposes of this program is to offer hope to people. This stuff can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, if a person is willing. We don't know what God wants to do with us until we know. You know?
Or until I try something different in a positive, constructive manner.
Right.
Yeah.
You get some different results, and then all of a sudden, you know, you get different ideas about how to go about things.
Those results build on themselves. I remember Jeff telling me they had a international conference in Vancouver, and this guy gets to wear virtual reality goggles and give people tours of Canada, and he ain't even been there. What the heck?
It sounds like you're making it up as you go
I
along.
did. Well, I can, but I didn't this one time I didn't.
So
You're on point.
this is another story of people getting put in my path at the time I need them. So I was struggling for a little bit, how to get back into service work, how to get back into the roots of what helped me stay sober, you know, keep me sober, keep me happy, keep that joyous and free attitude. And I got an email from the guy that's running the KCCO office, and he's like, "Hey, we're having a struggle getting these meta workspace meetings posted on the meeting guide." I'm like, okay, let me log in after work, see if I can figure it out. Look through everything, and the URL that they use was not allowable through the meeting guide app. So regardless of what we put in, it wouldn't work. So that got me to reach out to the person that was
I don't even
requesting
know what a URL is, and you knew what was wrong with it.
We know it's the website.
Okay. This got
That's
something
okay
to do with an
not to-
address?
Yeah.
That's okay not to know everything. I know you're the
Whew.
smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Relieved.
There's one
Yeah.
thing.
So where that took me then was a conversation with this guy that was running AA and VR. So those little Quest headsets, the Google goggles is what I like to call them for people that don't quite understand.
Yeah,
Like
I've tried a set of those
Yeah.
on. Yeah, they're peculiar.
They are. And he had a program where if you were willing to come to 3 meetings a month for 4 months, the headset would be yours. He just wanted people to try it, understand the virtual world. I hooked him up. I said, "Hey, I'll help you get the website, but I really want to try this." I said, "I need a couple of months to get the money together." He said, "Give me your address," and he came to my house and gave me my headset,
Nice.
and I've been hooked ever since. We've got avatars. We sit around a campfire. We have just amazing meetings. 20, 30 years of sobriety in these meetings every Monday night. But what Mike was touching on is, as I got into that virtual world, a whole new level of service opportunities opened up to me.
Right.
I was able to be a greeter, in a virtual world. The things that I've done here in a brick and mortar type of building.
In the physical world.
Yeah.
Right.
The only thing I can't do is make coffee in a virtual world. That's a little difficult, but
Hey, bring Mike to a meeting.
we have those opportunities. There's opportunities to chair, but the international convention for Alcoholics Anonymous was hosted in Vancouver July 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th this year. And the VR group wanted to have a group set up where we would give tours, and I was able to do that locally from my house in the greater Grand Rapids area. So it was such an amazing experience. We touched 200, 300 people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea that went on. Thank you for the enlightenment.
See, I knew something for a change.
You
but
did.
not a lot.
What's that URL?
Yeah.
We'll come back after the break and Mike
Okay.
will enlighten us further. Or at least I'll be curious about something else. Hey, come on back and join us after the break, folks. We sure are glad you're here. We're enjoying ourselves, and we hope you are too.
42,000 people converged at Vancouver this year. They had just over 42,000 people.
Yeah, it's a convention. I worked with a guy, and his wife were physically.
My cousin was there.
Yeah.
When I was in
And
Seattle, I ran into him, and he's like, hey, I'm going to
WGLM.
international.
You can
I'm
help
like,
support
nice.
Montcalm
Right.
Eleanor Club
They had
by
to go.
attending
They
their
come
golf
back to New
outing
Plan.
and
They've been out of
fundraiser.
country.
That will be
So that's
August 10th
penalty
at 9
flag.
a.m. at the Lake Sapone Lake.
So I had to go up to
Montcalm
security
Eleanor
with
Club,
them,
providing
and,
a safe haven for
if
Alcoholics
you're gonna go out of
Anonymous,
the country,
Narcotics Anonymous.
this is a good reason.
More information at
Go ahead, Jim. Tell them what you love doing, right?
616-232-2002.
So he
Up-to-date local
explained that they
information
laughed.
on
They
WGLM.
showed some documents.
Yeah.
Put them back to work.
Jason Walker. We will kick things off in Major League Baseball in the National League. Pittsburgh.
I got
shut
nothing.
out
I spent
Arizona
myself in that
2-0.
first
Mets over
second.
San
You got some
Francisco
work left to do.
2-1.
Okay,
San
I'll see
Diego
what I can
3.
dig up.
St. Louis Cards 1.
I'm gonna have to
and the
reach
Miami
way back
Marlins
my
defeated
knuckleball.
the Milwaukee Brewers.
Hey,
Final
Scott.
there was
Right there's the
7-4.
laminated.
In the American
Remember
League,
that?
Oh,
Kansas
yeah, I
City
gotta do
last
that.
week?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Splitting a doubleheader.
To do that,
Kansas
she do
City
that.
Carl
first
laminated it.
5-3.
It's
Cleveland
something.
in the
For us.
nightcap, 6-1.
Normally,
Toronto
Darren
6,
goes like
Detroit
this.
1. Yeah,
Pay attention. Get the phone number out there, man.
Yeah.
Seattle knocked off the Angels final. There was 7-2. Interleague play. Philadelphia 9, the Yankees 4, Cincinnati beat Tampa Bay 6-2. Baltimore 18,
I'll do that coming
Colorado
Yep.
nothing. Cubs beat the White Sox.
See, we're getting a
also
handle on
winning.
this.
Boston,
41
Texas,
shows later.
and Washington.
Knocking them out of the park.
It's a WGLM Weather Center
Made the
update.
teleprompter in the
Sunshine,
back.
hot,
Right.
and humid
Cue the
temperatures today
teleprompter.
with a high near
Wow.
90.
It looks like a
Blue
laminated
skies
sheet
overnight
of
today, a
tele-
low of 6 to
prompt.
7. Sunny and breezy for the day on Monday. Continued hot,
Oh,
high of
goodness.
92.
I know this
Most
stuff.
1
but
minute.
Sometimes we
Overnight
could go
Monday,
over
high of
conversations. I
67.
never slide it in.
Sunshine for the day on
He
Tuesday.
gets
a high
busy
of
getting
89.
caught in the moment. Every once in a while, we have a moment
It's
here.
like, Scott, you gotta
Music you
promote the
love
show,
on
you know?
WGLM.
Well, I
A
am.
recovery ecosystem is an evidence-based approach
45
that
seconds.
creates the environment that individuals and families need by providing all the necessary tools, services, and supports for recovery to occur.
Round
Cameron
one's
FSU
done.
aims to
It's
build
only a
a
three-round fight,
sustainable
Mike. What else you got?
regional recovery
Well,
ecosystem
he jumped ahead
through
again, but-
He
collaborative
did.
efforts with a focus
No,
I
on
told you
but-
they might work like
But we'll
this.
go back to like when you
veterans,
first came
homeless,
into
unhoused,
recovery.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say, you
recently
guys skipped
Yeah,
over that part.
we
Visit
didn't. He did.
Cameron.org
Mike did.
for
Yeah.
more
Oh, okay.
You told him to go ahead.
15
Yeah,
seconds.
only because I knew I'd have to bring it back. He went right to the finish line. I win. You're great.
I still got fenders on my rig. What are you talking about? I should have been entered that July 4th stuff over to Sand
What
Lake.
happened? I give him a little room to work, you know, but I know what it looks like.
Kaboom!
Oh shoot, Scott back here with you.
You got caught again.
I did. He caught me. Oh my goodness, we're having a little fun here in between the during the breaks, I guess I should say. And who wouldn't be, and why wouldn't we be? We're happy, joyous, and free today. You know, free of a lot of problems that used to be part of our lives, and that's a miracle.
Mhm.
So, real quick, Darren's reminded me I get to mention to you folks, if you want to give us a call and speak to Mike, Jeff, Darren, or myself, you can do that at 616-754-1063. Also, we have a webpage available for you folks out there. It's called continuousmiracle.net, and all 40 of our previous shows are posted on there. You could view it whenever you have some time to yourself. You'd like to watch a little show about recovery, experience, strength, and hope. You can also leave a note for us on there, and both Mike or I will respond to whatever that pertains to. Maybe you have an idea about a guest on the show. that'd be a good way to communicate that to us. Let us know. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, and that is Facebook, you know, your little toolbar. Am I talking right?
I don't
Computer
know
man?
what he does.
Toolbar? Okay, toolbar. That's what I call it. If you type in Continuous Miracle Radio, we will pop right up for you. And you can watch the show on there because that stays posted up there on Facebook. Also, we're on YouTube. Same thing, Continuous Miracle. Just type that in and we'll pop right up on YouTube for you. You can view it whenever you'd like and listen in. Visit those sites and we'd be grateful for that. So we didn't realize we were going to be doing all that stuff when we started this show, but sure enough we are. So
Do we got a URL somewhere?
that's a darn
Yeah,
question.
that's continuousmiracle.net.
We got a URL.
Yeah, I know. Right. Oh, good.
Isn't
hired
there somebody?
somebody.
Look at what we're learning.
Look what you got to work with, Jeff.
I know.
Not a lot.
How we doing, Digital Master?
You guys are okay. Stick to what you're doing. Don't
Okay,
quit your day
do
job.
what you know, yeah.
And it's not URL stuff.
No, probably not.
It's right in the paper.
There it is.
I'm going to have to read again?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
You guys keep doing that stuff.
Back to basics, sir. So speaking of back to basics, we were talking to Jeff. we're gonna continue with that here a minute. And like I say, I met Jeff over in Cedar Springs, if I recall correctly, about 8 9 years ago. And, yeah, things weren't real well at that time, but to be a part of and watch this young man's life turn around is nothing short of a continuous miracle. And the efforts that he's put forward to try and give back to the recovery community that's given him a life that today he hardly recognizes it. He tells me he has to wake up in the morning and pinch himself some days. But we'll talk about that in a minute. In the beginning, it wasn't that way. Things were pretty dark.
They were.
Yeah.
That they were.
Yeah. And you had just come out of a recovery center, if I'm recalling correctly. I'm not sharp as I used to be either. Getting along.
I'm getting there, though.
I do know what a URL is, though. So.
Rub it in.
No, not at all.
Hey, I learned what one is.
Thanks for stepping up.
There's hope.
Yeah, still. And Jeff had what most people in recovery encounter early in recovery. We didn't know. We knew we had to do something, but we didn't know what.
Yep.
And he brought some key elements along with him. I recall him distinctly, and he was curious. He also brought some willingness, and that's really all it takes to get going within the recovery community. You know, if we want to do something different. And then there's people there who are willing to offer some really helpful suggestions. They maybe point some literature out to the newcomer and get them moving in the right direction. And wow, what a difference, huh?
Yeah. It is a miracle to sit here and see where my life was and what it's like now. It is a night and day difference. Every year seems to be a night and day difference from one year to the next. And looking back 9 years now, almost 9 years, it's unfathomable what has changed in my life.
Yeah.
It really is. It is impressive.
All we can really do is say thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, God.
Yeah.
For a guy like me, that service work started with chairing meetings, helping organize a little bit there, and then working with other men. And if I was listening close to what you said about going to work or helping at KCCO at first, before you were their digital guru, you answered the helpline.
Yep, that I did.
People at a crisis point, someone to talk to. Okay, so it started there?
Yeah, I was 5 months sober. Well, probably 2 months sober, 5 months dry. And I was working the hotline through a suggestion from my sponsor. which sometimes that suggestion felt like a boot in the butt, but either way, I
We
got there.
voluntold.
I got there.
Voluntold.
Voluntold, sir.
And it was the best experience I could have ever had suggested to me. That allowed me to start getting out of self, starting to help other people, starting to see, see where other people were at, and to be able to help their lives transform as well. Keep in mind, I'm on step 3. I hadn't really worked much of the steps, but life was getting better.
But even at step 3, we can do something.
Right.
We can do
Yep.
something to be useful and helpful.
Yeah.
And continue with the work and the steps.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
It's never too early to get into service. If you're entering the recovery community and you have somebody who maybe you're talking with who has some clean time, and they make a suggestion to you to try and do something, that's doing something different when you're helping other people. Or even listening, like you said, on a hotline. You're not supposed to have all the answers when you're on answering a hotline, but you sure can help direct people to a different place.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point it was, just be there to listen for them. We had a checklist of things, obviously if they're in trouble, point them to the right places. But a lot of times they just needed, where's a meeting? And if they're needing a meeting, it's, do you need help right now as well? So we could point them to the right people, or just field that question and talk to them for 5, 10, 15 minutes. And that's all they needed, before they could get to that meeting to get the help they needed.
Right.
So, yeah, it was just an amazing experience for me.
You say talk to them. Was it mostly listening?
Just listening.
Ah.
The occasional, yep, I understand. Yep, I understand. Don't do that. Yes, I understand. Tried that.
Well,
I
they
don't
call it
think
a
it'll work.
hotline for a reason.
Yep.
See, folks, this is a rough primer on training for answering a hotline. I didn't know. Well, I thought I might have known something, but I needed a clarification. Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Well, you know plenty.
Yeah, but the application of it is sometimes I'm a little skewered on.
Yeah.
Learning.
Well, it's good to be put in a position where you can apply it,
Yeah.
like showing up.
Yep.
Anyway, you started with that, but you got to know some people. I'm bringing that up because I've heard it said that addiction, alcoholism is isolation, but recovery is connectivity.
Yep.
Oh, my old buddy Barry calls it running with winners. That's where I learned things, running with people that have something that I wanted, needed.
Yeah. So, talking about the addiction portion of my life, excuse me. So my sobriety date is 12/14/16. This year I'll have 9 years of sobriety on December 14th.
That's a long time without a drink.
It is a very long time. But years leading up to that, as my life started to get more and more unmanageable, the more it got unmanageable, the more I isolated. The more I had resentments to people, the more I isolated. And that's what I did. I isolated. I didn't know how to handle life. I had guilt, I had shame, I had remorse, I had all that stuff, and I just couldn't step in front of society, because I had all this inner turmoil. And when I got into the program and got back into the program, because I was here a couple times before, when I got back in, I finally felt connected to people that understood me, people that understood what I was going through. And that was the first time in years that people knew that hell I was going through.
And the key to that for you was you connected with a home group, right?
Yep.
And you got to become familiar with the people in their home group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, as I recall, then you were more comfortable sharing what some of the things that were bothering you at that time.
Yeah.
'Cause everything is temporary.
Right.
It
Wait a
seems,
minute.
not that I was there at that point exactly paying attention, but it seems like those things were dovetailed together. Getting a home group at about the same time you're helping with the hotline.
Yeah.
And reporting back.
Oh, that part.
Yeah. Yeah, so I, like Scott had mentioned earlier, one morning I woke up, so this would have been December of 16. I woke up, looked in the mirror, I had no idea who I was. I couldn't even recognize myself at that point. So I checked myself into a rehab. They had 2 options. I could go to Dallas or I could go to Palm Springs, California. And I'm like, Palm Springs sounds great.
Sure, it always does.
What I didn't realize is they were going to basically lock you into a men's retreat area with no outside doors, outside walls, and you don't get to leave the compound. So
There's a reason for that.
there is. It took me a while to understand that, but while I was in there, I was not happy. So I got out of there. That would have been mid-January of 17. Due to my previous interactions with the court system, they had pointed me towards AA for a little bit of help. Like I said, I had been in and out of AA for a little while, trying to get the program, but not wanting to give up that insanity. And when I stepped back in, at that point, I had kicked the alcohol out of my system enough to know that I needed help.
Right.
But I was afraid to ask for help. But I at least had a group. I had that home group. They'd listen to me. They just listened to me.
Yeah, and it was a safe place.
Exactly.
I found a lot of people in recovery coming in are loaded up with fear.
Right.
And the last thing a recovery group wants to be is a fearful place.
Right.
What you found there was understanding.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the meeting before the meeting after the meeting itself. But to where you were going with that, I think this guy sitting to my left here was tired of me ranting and raving, and he just asked me after a meeting, do you want to try something different? I'm like, well, not really, but kind of. Yeah, sure, no, maybe. And he asked me to come to Greenville. Come catch a meeting in Greenville. And that's when things started to change.
He tricked me the same way. He asked me to split some wood with him, stack and stuff like that. He works like that.
Right.
Well, the wood had to be cut and stacked. What do you want? Everybody can do something, right?
Well, that was where
One of those things.
Yeah, and the reason I bring that up is that was the start of my willingness to try something different. And as I became willing to do something different, things started to unfold. That was getting out of self and getting into it, different groups and people, and branching out into all of the different service opportunities in AA, and they're everywhere if I'm willing to look. I can always have something to do in the AA program.
Everybody can do something.
I got challenged sort of like that. This guy named Keith stuck his big bony finger up in my face and said, you ought to try prayer. And I said, what? Mm-hmm. And he said, you ought to try praying. It doesn't sound to me like you've ever given a honest effort. And I went, what are you talking about? He said, well, you're not very willing.
Yep.
Ah, darn it. You got that kind of challenge.
I had a similar conversation from the same Keith. I used to go to rides with him when I was in and out of the program. And he's like, you're never going to get this unless you're willing to do something different. And he's
True.
He's like, and it starts with not drinking in between. And I said, what are you talking about? He's like, I can smell it.
Wait a minute.
Guess what? I didn't come back to AA for a while after that.
Oh. More of that guilt, shame, remorse.
Exactly. It was.
So it sounds like a home group would hold a guy responsible or accountable, I guess the word. Accountable.
Yeah. Well, it's helpful.
Yeah.
We don't realize, the person coming in doesn't realize that, but we're laying the groundwork so that they can be well.
At first, I had to have some accountability for or towards others before I could have any to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a little more honest about that stuff. Sort of grew and built.
Right. But looking back, my higher power was putting those people in my life before I even realized it.
Yeah, and isn't that funny in hindsight how we realize all of these things?
Yep.
But, and how people are placed in our paths.
Yeah.
And we get to discover them or walk on by them, either way. And hopefully we make some good decisions and make some inquiries of what we're trying to get through some of that initial work in early recovery, because that's what those folks are there for.
Mm-hmm.
To be helpful to the new person.
So here I am reflecting on how God put somebody in my life. He sends this cocky fellow with a backpack to wave his finger in my face. I'm going to have to go call and tell him what he did. Well, you're an angel, Keith. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't know that until we know it.
Right.
Well, that's that retrospect you were talking about. I just did a little.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's growth.
You got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And you have. But yeah, as you come into the recovery community and working the steps and now being of service, and the opportunities unfold before your very eyes, that's where maybe a cognizant recognition of a higher power comes into play in your life anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that when we come back from break, because Darren's telling me, and he is dangerous, so we're going to take a little break here.
Yeah,
So come on back and join us right after the break here. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, maybe we got to ask Jeff something about the golf outing at the MAC that he's helping to organize too.
Oh yeah, that we'll get
Some
around.
current events.
We got a little time. We'll get to it.
Okay.
Current events. Come on back, folks. We'll be here.
Well, you recovered nicely from my blunders, thank you.
No,
1063.
here's the ball, kid. Run with it.
Community Radio.
He handed me the ball and I bunted it right there on the football field.
I'm trying to take it up, pick it up, and step back and walk through some of this as well. Given the direction I got
Sounds like
Friday.
someone's
So.
spending the minute.
Just wanted to show you the
Don't worry,
example.
Lowe's has the most
Some of them are shining, some aren't.
Said the
Work
quiet
with what we
part
got.
out loud. From
Sometimes
section
when you hear me-
stepping in
our
a,
selection
as an
is so
example.
cozy,
When you hear me
might
say,
just
"Go ahead,
volunteer
Mike,
to sleep
get
on the couch." Or just apologizing. Come to Vogue's in Building, because at the end of the day, we've got your back.
You work with what you got.
Yeah, we're doing just
Vogue
fine.
Furnishings
Had it a
cover
while.
for every room and every
Yeah.
argument. See you at Vogue's.
It's a WGLM Weather Center
1 minute.
update.
Sunshine, hot, and humid temperatures today with a high near 90. Clear skies overnight tonight, a low of 67. Sunny and breezy for the day on Monday. Continued hot, a high of
Yeah,
92.
well, we're out
Mostly
here
clear
with,
skies overnight Monday night, a low of 67. Sunshine for the day on Tuesday, a high of 89.
You ready?
Now, more of the music you love on
Talk a little
WGLM.
bit about your daughter and getting married.
Did you know that
Yep.
Central Michigan Recovery and Education
I made
Network
raspberry
at Fair
cake.
State
I remember
University
that.
works in the community to
Maybe
help
next week.
veterans,
Tasty. You made one for our.
and recently
our wedding.
incarcerated to maintain
That's what I
recovery.
remember, yeah.
Visit
Yep.
Cameron.org for more information.
This program is
I was being punished.
As part of an award for
I had to work.
That's one of those things I had food on my mind.
I
I didn't have the other half.
Here we go again.
I was thinking of my right brain.
Is
Not
that
the
the one
left.
that takes you in circles?
Yeah. Trying to help. Wait till I do tour.
Failing miserably.
Come on, Scott.
Stop it. Quit trying to help, Mike.
We're
It's not
having way
working.
too much fun in this studio today.
Mike, quit trying to help. It's not working.
All right.
Hey, we're back here with the. Wow. Thank you, Darren, for being on those dials. You don't need to be a part of the breaks. Yeah, I was just sitting here chatting with Jeff a little bit during the break, and you know, we're focused on the recovery part of working the steps when he comes through, and being a part of that, witnessing that, and then seeing what happened in his life, in his words, the relationships that were mended. I know Jeff's mom and dad quite well, and of course his daughter and his wife Carrie. Met her, wonderful woman, wonderful daughter, wonderful parents, and they got more wonderful for him after he got sober.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started doing his thing and pulling his weight, and yeah, got some fantastic relationships today as a result of getting active in the recovery community. So it's not just the work part, the service part that we're talking about here today. It's also about the restoration of our lives and how we interact with people closest to us, and how we carry that into the world around us, whether it's in our employment situations, of course in our families,
Yep.
things that truly matter. And yeah, it's been a pretty cool ride watching this guy, and I know Mike's life and my own too, some of the things that have come about, and lots of other folks we're familiar with too out there in the recovery community. So a little bit about Miss Carly, his daughter.
Yep.
She is graduated.
She
Graduated. Yeah, that's
Yep.
right. And she just got home from a trip to Europe.
No, she did that a couple years ago.
What was the latest trip?
This year we went to Disney.
Disney.
Yeah.
Okay. Europe, Disney. I don't know. It
About the
sounds
same
like
thing for a
sounds
guy
like
like
that
you.
kid's doing all right.
We have been very blessed and fortunate through our sobriety journey. So Carly, like Scott mentioned, just graduated high school, Cedar Springs. She's heading off to Saginaw Valley this fall. Wants to get into psychology to give back what has been given to her, similar to what I do in the program, giving back. She's had great counselors to get her through a lot of her times of what she grew up with. You know, it's
And wasn't she also a member, or still a member of Al-Anon?
Yep.
So his daughter attended Al-Anon.
Yep, I believe you had Sue on the program before.
Yes.
Her and Sue are just peas in a pod some days. It's amazing to see the two of them together.
Yeah, and that's what's available, and I don't think this is well known outside the recovery community. Though, if we come into recovery, we have children, we have Alateen, Alatot, and of course Al-Anon, that's available to the members of our families,
Yeah.
if they so choose. You can, obviously.
Yep.
Some of the folks might not understand that in our book it says that living with an alcoholic for any amount of time will make a neurotic out of anyone.
Well, it can, yeah.
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 So
Wow.
there's room for everybody to get better. Is the point?
Yep.
You know, the whole family, and yeah, it can be a task,
Yeah,
and it has been.
it has been.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I didn't realize the destruction that my alcoholism was doing to those around me. You know, I was drinking, I was isolating, like we had mentioned earlier, but that still has a ripple effect to a lot of people. The inner circle, that outer circle, the jobs, everything that becomes affected by it.
Sure.
And then with sobriety, it's how do we put those pieces back together? Can we put the pieces back together?
Right.
That's where the amends and the restitution and all of that comes into play. And you know, as Scott mentioned, I've been blessed and fortunate that I didn't lose any family members to my stupidity, for lack of a better word. All they wanted for me to do was get better, and when I got better, you know, I had those relationships. I still had to build the trust
Oh yeah.
because I had lost a lot of trust. It was, well, I'm
That's
going
a
to run
day
to
at a
this.
time activity.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to run to the store. Well, he's just going to buy another bottle of booze because that's what I do. I need something for dinner. Well, yeah, I need a bottle or two. You know, but I had to have that living amends. I had to prove to them that I can be trusted now. You know, that I'm not going out to sneak off into the garage to have 6, 10, 12 beers in 5 minutes.
Right.
You know, those are the things that I had to do. That was my part of my amends process. You know, and over time it's healed. You know, so we've had a great summer. It's her last summer before she heads off to college. 3 weeks, just over 3 weeks, she'll be taken off for college. So a little nervous, obviously, with that front. We've been peas in the pod for pretty much my entire sobriety. So it's
Well, thank goodness.
yeah.
Because having her around gave you some stability and some
Right.
accountability, and you didn't even
Yeah.
realize you needed until
Right.
one day it suddenly realized.
Yeah, exactly. And she used to come to meetings with me early on.
Oh, yeah.
She'd sit in the front room and do puzzles and then hang out with us after the meeting. That meeting after the meeting, you know, and got to know a lot of the people. So that AA people weren't scary people. You know, there may have been a couple here and there, but you know, she fell in love with a lot of the people around the tables. You know, and as Scott had mentioned, you know, Carrie, we celebrate our 2-year anniversary July 31st. So in 4 days, 5 days?
Yeah.
We celebrate 2 years.
2 years of wedded bliss.
Yeah, something I never thought I'd be able to love again after all the hurt and pain I had inside of me. You know, and I've been able to love. You know, I think about that second tradition. You know, for our group purpose, there's but one ultimate authority, a loving God. You know, when I can
Showed up.
when I can take these traditions and practice those in my life, you know, her and I can have these relationships. It's not about me. It's not about what I want. You know, it's what can we do together. You know, and you know, going back to that, we have been, you know, blessed in a lot of things. We've been able to do trips down in Alabama. Carly was able to go to Europe. You know, we've done the Disney thing, done Chicago. You know, we've been down to the Florida Keys, spent a week down in the Keys.
Oh, I love it
You
down
know,
there.
we were able to take our honeymoon in Switzerland. We did 2 weeks in Switzerland. you
Oh,
know,
that
it's-
was the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, we did. We
That
did-
was a trip.
Yeah, I spent my birthday at the highest peak in Europe. You know, almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
It was August 3rd of last year. 2 years ago, that is. You know, those are the blessings that sobriety has given me. You know, and that's just scratching the surface. You know, I have friends again. I can laugh again. I have hope. I have things that 9 years ago were never even on the radar.
No.
Yeah.
Well, with good reason, 9 years
Yeah.
ago. But through your work and service
Yeah.
and things you did to help yourself, to be useful and helpful
Right.
to others. Look at what's transpired.
Right.
Stuff, it's miracle stuff. You know, you can't. Reading. There's not a good way for us to explain this stuff because you really can't. It
Right.
just happens as a result of doing something
Yep.
different, and we get to live a life that we didn't even know was available to us prior to
Speaking
coming
of
into recovery.
Speaking of available, what I keep hearing out of Jeff is because he's sober, he's present and available.
Yep.
Every day.
Yeah, it was tough to go out to the garage and hammer 6, 8, 10, 12 and come back in like nothing had happened. So when something like that happens, an alcoholic is not present and available.
No.
He might be there.
Physically present, but not mentally present.
That's the part when
Yep.
I wanted to make mention of
Yep.
that you've been able to be present and available, and you get quite a few
Yep.
beneficial results from being
Mhm.
there.
Yep. Yeah, we've. That was the thing I never understood either. Is I would always be places. I would be at parties. I would be at family events.
Sure.
I
show
was
up.
there.
Mhm.
I showed up, but was I ever there? No, because I'm thinking about where's my drink.
Last one to arrive, first one to leave.
Exactly. How soon
Yeah.
can I get out of here? When can I sneak off to the garage? When can I run upstairs to my backpack? Or when can I?
These
That
peop-
was always in my mind. So people would be having a conversation, and it was just air going through my ears because that alcohol just consumed me. That thought of alcohol was consuming me.
Well, and that's the disease aspect of it.
Right.
You know, it's the only thing you can think of when you're in the throes of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're becoming free of the bondage of that.
Yeah.
You're breaking loose from that disease, overcoming, recovering.
Yeah.
A whole new world opened up to you.
Right. Yeah, and I keep saying 9 years ago because 9 years ago, at this point, I was just blotting a path to the end. You know, there was no hope, there was no direction, there was no nothing. And like I said, that one day I just looked in the mirror and something overtook me and said, "You need to be on the phone with rehab today."
Isn't it funny how wrong we can be about things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong again.
Yeah,
Heard it a
wrong
lot,
again.
and I say it a lot,
Right. Right, man, and we make light of it today, but it's so true.
Yeah.
But that's why we make light of it, because we had to realize that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
And
It
when
was.
you realize that, it can become quite humorous.
Right. Yeah, it was serious. I was where I was at in life was very serious. Nobody thought I would make my 40th birthday, and a week from today I will celebrate my 48th birthday.
Nice.
You know, so
That's nice to know they could be wrong too.
right,
Hey, yeah,
right.
so
But the path I was going
Right.
was not a good path.
I remember 48. That was a long time ago, but I almost remember it.
you were there.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
No,
Mike,
well, no,
don't-
48. I really wasn't there. I was either drinking or obsessed with drinking.
Yeah.
According to what I was going to make a point of.
Well-
A lot of people don't understand that, you know, they see an alcoholic, drunk, whatever. But when if we're an alcoholic and we're not drinking, we're obsessing about drinking.
Yeah.
Which is maybe even worse than the actual drinking part of it because it consumes a guy like me completely.
Yep.
Well, it takes present and available out of the equation.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're obsessing about something else.
a lot of people don't really understand that unless you've been there.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Well,
make
that's a
it.
good description of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Jeff had mentioned something right along them lines he was obsessing with. That's why you're going down to the garage.
Right.
Yep.
Before you went to the garage, you were obsessing.
Mhm.
I used to tell people I wasn't an alcoholic because I didn't drink before 8 o'clock at night. And this one old boy at a meeting, I'm not going to cuss this time.
Okay.
This one old boy at a meeting pointed out, yeah, but what happened if somebody got between you and 8 o'clock and your drink?
Yeah.
Ooh, was there heck to pay. See, I used a good word. Yeah.
See, and I was the functioning alcoholic, right? I went to work. I paid the bills until I wasn't. But I refused to say in my mind that I was anything but a functioning alcoholic. You guys told me on my first step meeting, fun fact, by the way, I found my first step meeting thing, and this guy chaired that meeting. And come to find out 3 years later, he ends up being my sponsor as I went back out and played in the Briars and got all scraped up and scruffed up. And
How's it
came back.
going out there?
I proved to him that it's not very good being out there.
Thank you for the investigation.
Yeah.
Confirmation.
More service work.
Yeah, but life today is something I could not have fathomed. And every year it gets better and better as long as I'm willing to keep trying and keep growing and keep getting better and putting others in front of me. That God first and others themselves, and things just they happen. And
Yeah, I found similar results when I put God first in my life and try and be helpful to others, that my needs are somehow met. And I didn't know how to do that, let alone try and live it. But after some practice, like you mentioned, you come to realize, wow, this is the way I should have been doing things all along.
yeah.
I guess I was wrong again.
Turns out that's what the folks were trying to tell me, teach me when they was raising me, and I didn't quite pick up on that until I got around you folks.
That's okay. I guess we learn when we learn.
Yeah.
Or when we're supposed to.
Yeah, and you folks taught me that maybe I should try to remain teachable, see what I could still learn.
Well, there is that problem. What's an Earl, sir?
An Earl? Oh.
You're
Oh, yeah, that's
already-
our address. I remember now.
Yeah, it's a website.
I thought you were going to ask me about an ale.
No, an Earl.
Oh, I know what an ale
I know what
is
you
today.
learned today. What's an ale? Go ahead.
Another learning experience.
Another learning experience.
Poor Jeff's over here shaking his head between the two of you.
He was
Yeah.
afraid.
I was gonna sit on the outside just so I didn't have to be in the middle. But
It
More of
happens
that
way.
air going through.
It
I'm
happens that
present.
way.
I'm not mentally here, so I'm just shaking the head as it goes back and forth.
It
Thanks for
happens that way
the
sometimes.
thanks for the help with the acoustics.
Well, this is how we make these discoveries.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks for maybe showing us we could have been steering in a wrong whatever. Thank you for all your help.
Darren,
Hey, before we run out of time, I know you wanted to talk about the golf outing that's
Yes.
coming up for the MAC.
Yeah, we do have a golf outing coming up. Go ahead. Can you enlighten us on that?
Yeah, so August 10th, I believe it's a 9 a.m. start. There's going to be a fundraiser for the MAC, the Montcalm Alano Club here in Greenville. It's $75 per person. What is that? $350 per team, if my math is right.
It is as usual.
So that per team, there's sign-up sheets at the MAC. We'd like people to be able to sign up ahead of time so we get a good count of what's going on. So that'll be 2 weeks from today. Is it 2 weeks from? Yeah, 2
Yeah.
weeks from today.
Yep.
Right now we've got a handful of teams. It'll be at the links at Bowen Lake. Again, $75 a person. There's going to be a lunch afterwards, some door prizes. It's going to be a great event, great fundraiser. We're going to have a great time. We had an amazing event last year with it.
Taco bar.
Great reason
Yeah.
for a fundraiser, too. Great
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah, of course.
Funding goes to help the local Alano Club.
Yep.
So,
This is one of the places where I really got to know Jeff real well when we was working on, and we were both on members of the board at TMAC trying to help it stay solvent.
Yep.
Thank you for your efforts.
yeah, you guys did a fantastic job, too. And it continues to be things moving in the right direction.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that takes service work on folks' part. Being
Cooperation.
willing to step up and cooperate. And yeah, if you've ever been to a board meeting at a service organization where nobody gets paid, come on in and bring your helmet. We're gonna have some fun here. Conversation.
Oh, it can be bruising.
yeah.
Can be.
But all for the greater good, and that's the fun part of it. So once you realize that, good things come of it too. So I wanted to remind everybody because Darren's not telling me to, and that's good.
Whoa!
I know. I'm getting better too, sir.
Hope.
Again, about our website, continuousmiracle.net, all one word. And again, all the past shows and episodes are up there on that website you can view them and listen to them, or you can listen to them and not view them.
That's a URL.
That's the URL. Thank you, Mike. Or you can go to Facebook and look us up at Continuous Miracle Radio in your toolbar, and we will pop right up on there. You go backwards in the episodes there. I think they're all up there too. Also on YouTube, Continuous Miracle. And leave us a note on the webpage, continuousmiracle.net. And either Mike or myself will be happy to respond to that. And again, if you have a suggestion, possibly for a guest on the show, you can leave us a note there and we'll get in touch with them. Won't we, Mike?
You will. I'm not sure I'll answer, but we'll get in touch with you, folks. He noticed me drifting off, folks. Thank you, Scott.
No, well, since your car accident, I'm paying a little more closer attention to you. You're doing great.
Okay.
Darren, I want to thank you for being with us here again.
Oh, you're welcome.
Service, sir. Greatly appreciated. And I want to thank you all for listening and being here with us for another show here on Continuous Miracle at WGLM 106.3. We'll talk to you next week, and we're looking forward to that. Hope you are too. Have a great week.
Thanks, Scott. That was wonderful.
Thank you, thank you.
Not sure it won't be recorded.
See, I didn't hurt back, did it?
I knew it wouldn't.
It's great.
It don't hurt to tell the truth, whether you're telling 10,000 people or you're telling 20
Right.
people, you know?
Right.
It's just telling the truth.
It's more nerve-wracking standing in front of people at the North
And a
Club.
speaker meeting
Yeah.
than it is doing
Than it is
this.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.